The Resident Act of 1790 placed the nation's permanent capital along with the Kennedy Bridge. President George Washington and city planner Pierre Charles Monfort selected the presidential residence site, which would later become 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. A national contest was announced to design the new executive mansion. James Fulton won the contest with a neoclassical architectural style. Over the next 8 years, hundreds of enslaved laborers, along with wage earning craftsmen, shouldered the grueling work to help build their new home.
During World War I, another president shouldered the burden of serving as commander-in-chief, and the White House became a global power center, directing troops across the globe. During World War II, rooms transformed as the White House evolved to meet the ever-changing needs of a nation at war.
We hope you have enjoyed exploring the East Coast. We will be transitioning to a new room shortly. Welcome to the Green Room, the first of the state parlors to be named for its color. The green decor started with Thomas Jefferson, expanded under James Monroe, and continues to this day. For over 2 centuries, first families have used the Green Room to play cards, host teas, and welcome visitors. Today, this room features the work of true American masters, from pioneering blank artist Jacob Lawrence to the 19th century New York craftsman Duncan Fine. We invite you to explore by touching an object to bring it to life. Experience the great treasures and history that fill the Green Room.
Welcome to the Cabinet Room. This is the West Wing room where presidents meet with members of their cabinet, including the vice president, department secretaries, and other advisors with cabinet rank to discuss priorities, listen to recommendations, and make decisions.
When the worldwide depression hit the United States, the fact that it was international, that no people were spared, meant very little to man suddenly without work.
There were bread lines, soup kitchens, and street-corner apple sellers.
A nation in the depths of economic depression had elected its first Democratic chief executive in 12 years, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his cabinet were determined to stabilize the country within the first 100 days of their administration. Let's imagine what FDR and some members of his cabinet may have discussed during that time.
We are in the depths of a Great Depression. Economic catastrophe has unleashed widespread suffering. Banks have collapsed, and Americans are losing their homes and farms to foreclosure. The people are demanding action, and we must harness the power of government to help them. I need input from everyone at this table to determine our priorities.
Before we do anything else, we have to stabilize the banking sector. This means strengthening Americans' confidence in our banking systems and keeping banks and lending institutions in check.
Farmers are struggling to stay in business. Food production costs have gone up, and they are forced to sell for less. We must revive our farms to ensure Americans have enough food on their plates.
But we can't ignore the rest of the world. We need to look abroad and work with our global partners to steady the world's economy. Only then can we ease our struggles at home.
If we're going to have any chance at recovering from this depression, we'll need to develop closer relationships between business and government.
We need to get Americans back to work. Let's provide support for public works projects. You know, that way in the communities, we can give them good government jobs to build bridges and tunnels.
We can also employ young men to work manual labor jobs, developing and protecting natural resources on federal lands. In this way, we can not only improve America's public lands, forests, and parks, but it will also provide meals, lodging, and income for many unemployed Americans.
Thank you. You've all given me many good ideas. Now I want to hear from the rest of you. Give your input on the notebook in front of you to determine a plan of action.
Let's invest in young workers and improve America's public lands.
Let's support free trade policies to promote international peace and prosperity.
We must support our farmers and alleviate hunger.
Americans need jobs, and this government can supply them.
We have to shore up the banking system as soon as possible.
Government and business must work together to solve this crisis.
Some of Roosevelt's initiatives faced setbacks, but many proved successful. Let's look at how your team of advisors ranked his priorities. Under his leadership, Congress first passed legislation to stabilize the banks, but then went on to assist farmers, establish a social security system, and create public works programs. Thank you for joining Franklin D. Roosevelt's cabinet and for sharing your advice with the president. You may leave the cabinet room or remain seated to advise another president.
The United Kingdom will be on our side, and the United States will be on your side.
Former President and Mrs. Reagan hosted a Georgia on the Soviet Union for a state dinner in 1987.
why we have fundamental disagreements about how the human community should govern themselves. It's possible that I'm the same. It's too early to get to. I was just a little kid, but I knew that was a pretty big deal. We can really see diplomatic history here tonight.
This decision could very well change the fate of our...
Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate our honored guests. Shared meals and state visits offer an opportunity to reaffirm our closest partners.
France was America's first ally.
Rebuild critical relationships.
President Gorbachev, whatever deep differences divided us in the past, our two nations can find common ground.
And celebrate advances in peace and democracy.
As we break bread together, we are reminded of that which binds us, the pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality.